Yeah, cream cheese lady. Traveling's dangerous. Don't let anyone tell you it's not. I almost died in an Uber this year. That almost happened. I was in an Uber in Seattle, Washington, and I had an Uber driver stop on the freeway. And I don't mean he pulled over. I mean he brought it to 0 miles per hour on the interstate. And that's when I started screaming, which I think is pretty normal in that situation. I don't think I'm out of line or anything. I was screaming things like, "Hey, we're all gonna die." And that's when I found out he didn't speak any English. So that meant nothing to him. He just thought I was being rude back there. He's like, "Why is that guy screaming? I'm trying not to drive right now." This is how the whole thing started. I did a show at a club, and then afterwards I was gonna meet some friends at a bar in downtown Seattle. This place called the Crocodile Cafe. So I ordered an Uber, and because I'm responsible. And he shows up, and this is how I should have known that he didn't speak English. I got in, and he goes, "You're going home?" And I'm like, "No, I'm going to the Crocodile Cafe." And he goes, "You're going home." And like, I was gonna correct him, but I'm like, why? I don't care if he thinks I live there. Just take me to the thing on your phone, you know? So he said, "You're going home." I'm like, "Yeah, all right, I don't care." And then he pulls out, and his phone starts yelling directions at him in a language I've never heard in my entire life. And I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." But at the same time, I don't need to understand that. As long as you understand whatever the hell that's saying, and it's taking us to the Crocodile Cafe / my house, we're good to go. So I'm not paying attention now. I'm out of the transaction. I'm just in the back on my phone, you know, enjoying my life. And then we're on the freeway, and I just feel like we stop. And I look around, and I'm like, yeah, there we are. 1 in the morning, in the middle of the 5 South, right before you hit downtown, doing 0 miles an hour. And I started screaming, "Hey, we're all gonna die!" But that doesn't mean anything, because the only English he knows is "you're going home." That's all he knows. And he's pointing at his phone, and there was a fork in the road. That's why he had stopped. There was a fork, and he's like, I don't, because, and I'm like, "You gotta make that decision doing 70. That's a call you make on the run. You just pick one. Even if you pick the wrong one, it's all right. We'll get a second chance. We can fix this." But you know how we won't get a second chance? We get plowed into from behind because you're doing 0 miles an hour on the interstate. It's not gonna be a fun accident. We're not gonna high five and exchange information. There will be a fire. So I'm screaming at him, and he finally starts moving. He starts going, and he eventually gets me to the bar. And as I walk into the bar, the first thought that came to my head was, I should have just driven drunk. I should have just drunkenly driven my rental car. And I know that's wrong. But I don't care how drunk I was that night. I wasn't drunk enough to stop on the freeway. I might have hugged another lane a little bit, but I wouldn't have brought it to 0 miles an hour. Everybody stop, there's a fork in the road. We're not going anywhere till we figure this out. So it's dangerous out there. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.